to make the necessary repairs. The other thing, speaking strictly now with the lawsuit that we settled with Pegasus and their insurance company, the Heidelberg and the Yorkshire, every receipt that the association spent in those two buildings, which came to $280,000, was part of the damages book for our lawsuit. That's what our lawsuit was based on. And the association received $1 million, and all those receipts were part of that $1 million. Okay? Another thing I want to mention, there's a lot of issues. We have 2 lawsuits now in Heidelberg, and I think another one in the Bordeaux building. The Heidelberg is a special situation. Heidelberg, we were forced to evacuate the entire month of June after the hurricane because the contractor took a perfectly good roof off, and we had about 6 separate flood events, and then we were forced to evacuate. So you have a special situation here with the Heidelberg unit owners. There were also other unit owners that were forced to evacuate in other buildings because the damage was so bad. One thing I'd like to point out as far as collecting, you put the association in a situation of what Jerry termed double dipping. There's a technical term, but we'll stick with the double dipping. The association's been paid for all those receipts and those damages books. And we're talking about not just a few units, we're talking about close to 100 units that had work on throughout the village. Now the other units, the association hasn't collected on. So if you're going to collect from the insurance company, and then the association receives those monies, and then you want to go back to the same unit owners, and I'll cite the Heidelberg again, because we were a special case in our lawsuit, then the association is now double dipping. And there is several lawsuits now pending. Now let's talk about the insurance, just briefly, and I'll finish. I'm one of the people that put the program together, despite what you hear about the rumors that have been dispersed over the years. I initiated the program of correct and bill through our attorney, okay, at the time that we had. We initiated that program. Our attorneys, we had 2 attorneys working on it at the time. They stopped the program because they saw where it was going and put the association in a situation of jeopardy because all these receipts were part of the damages book and part of our lawsuit. Okay? So we have to be very aware of that. There's an issue here called maintenance, and that's what's predicated on these lawsuits that are coming in, and there may be more. In my particular case, part of the program I had down there that we sent out, we did an experiment, we sent it to 15 people in the Heidelberg. Of the 15 people, only 2 of us, myself and another person, put an insurance claim in. My insurance company, I'm in the process now with 2 adjusters, this many years later, still trying to collect my first dollar on the damages, other than they replaced a couple rugs at $20 less a square yard. They're saying that they're not going to pay, and I'll say the company, it's Universal Insurance, I'm not with them anymore. They're not going to pay because the association allowed the contractor to come in and do that. Okay? And it was lack of supervision on the association's part, lack of supervision of a contractor. The other big issue is, and Jerry never tells this side of the story, when we were evacuated, we were an hour we had to get out of the building, an hour. We locked our doors. When people came back, somebody unlocked those doors. They broke the close. All right? People had kitchens removed. Not just ceilings and walls and bathrooms like I did. Some people had their entire kitchens removed. They came down to see the damage. There was nothing left. Well, let's not even get into it. That's another nice conversation. Right? The issue there is, again, the association allowed a contractor to go in to our homes without any authorization, and more importantly, no contract. The association never had a contract with Pegasus, okay, to go into that particular building and do the work while we were forced to evacuate. And I would more than welcome the opportunity to sit down with anybody and go over, because there's a lot of things we can talk about now that I couldn't talk about before because of the lawsuit, but that lawsuit is settled now. So we can go from there. One other quick thing. Michael brings up the issue about the toilets and the low flush toilets. In my building, they do not work. A number of us have put them in. I have a low flush toilets when I bought the unit a couple of years ago. I think they're 1.6 liters. They don't work. And the reason they don't work is because our stacks are so old, there's too much air in the system, and there's not enough water pressure to make them function properly. So I have found, with the investment of the low flush toilets, I just put another one in 2 weeks ago. Made the investment out of my pocket to do it. That one doesn't work either. Most of the time, to get the solid waste down, there's enough of it, you have to flush twice. So I think we seriously need to look at that. But I'm glad to see it's part of the suggestion. The other issue, and then I'll get off here, is the scuppers. I'm happy to see that they've been inspected. The issue with the scuppers is George has been forced to close off 6 scuppers on our buildings, various buildings. One's on the Heidelberg, one's on your building, one's on the, there's a couple here in the clubhouse, and some on the other buildings. If citizens finds out that we're deliberately closing off scuppers, and the scupper I'm talking about is the only way for the water to get off the roof, they do not have to pay us. Because we're not insured for lack of maintenance. So I would suggest to this board, with this time of year, with hurricane season coming, to get those damn scuppers taken care of, because it's going on for too long.
Is that what caused the backup, and that's why we had our floods?
Absolutely.
And it was down to lack of maintenance.
George is forced to close them off because they're leaking into units. They need to be
We
repaired.
had terrible bills.
No,
And that cost the association $6,000.
I'll be glad to done them for you. They work. Toilets today are rated by efficiency and water.
Don't forget, your building is here. When the pipeline comes in, you're at the end. We're not getting, they're not working. I have 3 bathrooms.
Yeah.
And none of them work.
The ones I saw